Hey guys, Budcat7 here. Okay, it is Tuesday, September 18th, 2018, and I want to thank you for visiting the Stonewall Research channel here on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe because I got a lot of material in there that you're going to be interested in. A lot of my hands-on research is on site, in person. It's not secondhand information or anything like that, so you can see my hands-on research in my videos. I created a bunch of playlists. Please do go in there and look at some of the videos in the playlist, and you're going to see some amazing things with stone walls, stone constructions in several sites in the Northeast. And for my regular subscribers, please do me a favor. If you do watch the videos, please do hit the like button, because that has something to do with the search here on YouTube, because the more likes you have, the easier it is to locate it in a search. And naturally, all the state approved channels, you have 1 million likes and 1 million subscribers, and that's the misinformation, and we can't get this information out there without hitting the like button. So please do that. Okay, well, I'm out tonight. I'm at my local gazebo here in the town park here. I'm out on my bike. It was just a lousy day in the Northeast. The weather in the Northeast has been lousy for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's just awful. It's just wet, humid and wet and hot and terrible, miserable. In any case, I was at my local library today doing some research like I usually do. My work affords me a lot of time to be at the library, thank God. So, I have done a tremendous amount of research on this stuff over the past several years. And one of the things I always look for at the library is archaeological information on New York and New England. And there's not a lot of it. There isn't like a comprehensive tome, a book that you can go to and look up the archaeology of New York State and New England. They just don't have it. So, it's really dependent on university, archaeological departments, material that they publish. And in this case right here, what you're looking at is something published by New York State. It's a little bit older stuff, but, there isn't any newer stuff because, as far as they're concerned, it's done. And this thing here was basically, the size of a coloring book. And I was able to copy the whole entire thing. It's like 30-something pages long or something like that. That's it. I'm suspect of this whole thing because there just isn't a lot of archaeological stuff done here in the Northeast, and you have to wonder why. Okay, so in any case, I titled this video "Prove It," because that's something that I always hear either in the comments on YouTube videos, my videos, other people's videos. I see them, getting on these other, channels and telling them to prove whatever it is. And, what I'd like to say to those people is, you prove it, okay? You're going by your state-approved baloney education, whatever it is, and, you want to accept everything as fact and whatnot. So let's take a look at this state-approved leaflet series here by this guy, William A. Ritchie, who was the head archaeologist in New York here. He did a lot of research in this book. He was on the sites and whatnot. So let's look at some of the language that they use in this book to see how definite they are about what they find here in New York State. So I'm just going to run through it. I have a lot of notes and stuff like that, and I have some interesting stuff to tell you about that I found in here. So let me just run through it real quick. So let's take a look at some of the language in here to see if they're so positive about what they found in the archaeology. I'm just going to run through it real quick, okay? So let's see what it says. On the first page here, it says might be. Okay, this is the kind of language that's used in here. Hey, you ant, get off of there. All right, we got might be on the first page. Might be. I like that. That sounds very positive to me. Okay, what else do we have here? Probably. Okay, probably. That's a good one. Probably. Let's see. Keep on going here. Okay, probable. Probably. Okay, we got some radiocarbon dating in there, which, has an error, quotient of so much, I don't trust radiocarbon dating at all. Must have. They seem. Okay, they seem and they must have. They seem to have been. We may suppose. They suggest things. They hint at things. This seems to show. Okay? This is how positive they are here about what they're finding, how definite they are, how much of it is fact. Okay? Suggests, may also. Okay, it may. It's very suggestive. Apparently, probably, possibly. Okay, possibly. We may deduce. We may. We might deduce something, I guess. We can form some notions. I'm going to go over some of the phrases they use in here, too. Assumed. That's a good one. Assumed. That sounds pretty definite, right? As suggested. Perhaps. That sounds definite, right? Probably. Okay, more radiocarbon dating here. Baloney dating. As inferred. So we can infer stuff. And possibly, very likely. It's likely. Okay? They seem to have. Seen. They seem to. That's interesting. This appears to have been. May also have. That sounds definite. So-called. Probably. Seem to have. Appear to have. That sounds like definite language to me. Hey, you cricket. Very definite stuff here, guys. Probable. That's a good one. Probable. Bear with me here, guys. I want to show you this language here. It seems to have been. To suggest. We're suggesting stuff. Let's see. Suggesting, seem, almost certainly. They're almost certain. Almost. Apparently. It's apparent, I guess, to some people. Maybe not you or me. Probable. It's probable. Seems to have been. It would appear. Probably. And we suspect. They suspect. They're great detectives. Okay, so, interpret, look, guys, if you or I in the alternative community use words like probably, seems to have, possibly, maybe, suggests, inferred, blah, 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 people would be calling us out on all of this stuff. So here you go. Here's your state-approved stuff here. And look, that's okay. That's, my stuff is theoretical. My stuff is hypothesis, just like their stuff is. The thing is that you want to take it as fact. It's not fact. it's probable, it's possible, it may seem, it's inferred, it's, all of this language that they use in here. So, they're not sure of a lot of this stuff. And that's the whole point of this video here. They're not sure of a lot of this stuff. So this is what you're going by. This is what you're forcing up my rear end here. So before you start foaming at the mouth like a rabid gopher and stomping around like Rumpelstiltskin with steam coming out of your ass, okay? Maybe you want to check the actual data, the actual material that you're so sure of that's proof of something else or whatever it is, okay? So before you start getting on me about how I got to prove this and prove that, you prove it, okay? You prove what you know, okay? Here's a guy who's the archaeologist, okay, that did the work, all right? And, it may seem, and it's probably this, and it's like that, and maybe it's this, and maybe it's that. Look, this is not proof. This is, interpretation, okay? So, okay, so you want to say, these guys are educated guys. They went to college. Well, so did I. I went to college, too. So don't give me this crap where, it's incumbent on me to prove everything, because what you know is not proof. All right? And this pamphlet proves it. All right? So before, like I said, you start foaming at the mouth like a rabid gopher, with steam coming out of your ears and your rear end and whatnot, you better check on what you know. Because I don't think you know anything, What you know is what this guy's know. A bunch of inferred stuff. All right, that's maybe this and probably that and whatever it is, okay? So think about it, all right, before you start opening your mouth and making stupid comments, all right? In any case, guys, I just want to go through some very interesting little tidbits in here and some other inconsistencies that I found in here. I got red flag notes in here and whatnot, and, here you go. It is one of the archaeologist's ultimate aims to discover and formulate, with the aid of fellow anthropologists and historians, historians, baloney, basic generalizations underlying the processes of growth and decline of cultures and civilizations all over the world. Basic generalizations. Okay, that's the archaeologist's ultimate aim, okay? Such knowledge might be of inestimable diagnostic value. Yeah, it might be if it's, I guess if it's, done right, I don't know, but, look. All right, first note over here, I like this. According to preset concepts, the New World was peopled by a succession of migrations of different physical types. Differing physical types. Okay, I never knew that. Did you know that? There were differing physical types who came through the portal of the Bering Strait in Alaska? I didn't know that. That's interesting. Different physical types. Why different physical types? I thought it was all just, Asian peoples or whatever it is, but, I guess they were different. I never learned that. Here's an interesting note here. During the archaic stage, several physically and culturally different groups of non-agricultural hunters and fishers. Non-agricultural, I'm very suspect of that. Little map. New York State showing the progression that they think, they assume that's probably this and probable that. Many other things remain to be discovered about these first and least known inhabitants. Okay, here's an important note. While there are major differences both in the physical characteristics of the people themselves, as told by their skeletal remains. Now, here's an inconsistency here. on one of these other pages here, it says that no skeletal remains have been found of this first stage of habitation. And here it is. The Paleo-Indian stage refers to the period of occupation by early hunters whose skeletal remains have never been found. They've never been found, the skeletal remains. Let's see what it says here again. In my notes here that I caught them on. A freaking lie. While there are major differences both in the physical characteristics of the people themselves, as told by their skeletal remains. You just said no skeletal remains were found. See? Baloney story. Baloney story. Okay, guys? They don't know what they're even talking about in here. This is like the top guy, right? I like that. One may suspect, again, by a somewhat dangerous analogy with contemporary primitive hunting tribes, that the social, religious, and ceremonial aspects of life were relatively simple. A dangerous analogy. I don't like dangerous analogies, do you? Let's see, there's some other interesting things in here that I want to show you. Bear with me, guys. Good stuff. Good stuff. Again, in the late archaic cultures of eastern and coastal North, 2200 to 1500 BC, we have found no human skeletal remains. But then later on, they found skeletal remains that were extremely decomposed. But, you know, they can figure out, even by decomposed skeletal remains, how tall and large, and no mention of how big these people were, how tall, or what their size or anything, just that they were different. Okay? And here, very interesting. It says, long stretches of rifts or shallow fishing waters formerly existed in this section of Mohawk River prior to the canalizing of damming of the stream. So here we have, in archaic culture, the Native American ancestors here making canals. Okay? But, you know, in Wikipedia, there's no evidence that Native Americans built canals. And here's something very interesting. I want to point out that Clint Steele, if you don't know about Clint Steele and his channel, it's an excellent channel. It focuses on Thunderbolts Project, Velikovsky's work, David Talbot, Walt Thornhill with the Electric Universe. Here, Clint, take a look at that. Birdstone, okay? They show these bunch of tools here and artifacts here. However, they don't know what this is for. And it's very interesting. They make a note of that. And right here it says, in addition, breast ornaments like gorgets and artifacts of still unknown use, such as the bird stones, boat stones, and bar amulets. Let's take another look at that again. I made a note for Clint, the birdstone, and you can see in my videos on Petroglyph National Monument there's a lot of these duck bird effigies and whatnot. They can't figure out what this is, and you can see it on Clint Steele's channel and of course the Thunderbolts Project channel. A lot of these petroglyphs with this, you know, bird figure, duck figure on there. So another thing that, you know, sort of harkens back to the Thunderbolts Project and the work that David Talbot did over there. Okay, here, this is extremely interesting. Another notable feature of some early and middle woodland cultures is the relatively larger size of many of the articles. There are, for example, enormous carved antler combs ranging up to 14 inches in length. Okay? 14 inches in length. Large engraved bone daggers, massive harpoons, and extremely long stone blades, all of which suggest an energetic people imbued with definite and objective ideas. And this baloney statement here were doubtless votive offerings. So they were just, offerings to throw into the graves. They really weren't, to be used by the people, because this guy can't make that connection. You see, they're sort of exaggerated, sort of, things that they just put in there for, shits and giggles. And very suspect of that. It's interesting. 14-inch combs, guys. Can you imagine 14-inch comb? You need a 14-inch comb to comb your hair. That's pretty big, my friends. Oh, and I have this note. The rare and mysterious birdstone were kept on being found in some of these later cultures. Hey, Clint, look. The rare and mysterious birdstone. Let's see here. I don't know if I have anything else in here that's right now. You can see by all my stars and underlining, and, I have a lot of notes in here. Oh, here we go. While we know very little about the physical appearance of the earlier woodland people, since most of the skeletons found have been too badly decomposed for measurement. Baloney. Okay? I don't care how decomposed they are. They can take a fragment of a skeleton and determine from that fragment, get a good estimate of the size of the overall skeleton. They could do it today. They could do it back then. This is not something that, it's like brand new technology, that, brand new kind of study that we can, do that now, but we couldn't do it in the past. They could do it if they wanted to, but they don't want to. Trust me, they don't want to. Okay, let's see. I just want to go to the end here. As you can see, you have to wonder about, how this was edited here to sort of, reflect, the current academic paradigm, and, stay within those boundaries, because, you're not going to want to get outside those boundaries, because, it's going to open up a lot of different questions. And, here in the summary here, I just put it, it's generally agreed that the Indians of the New World were of Asiatic origin. Generally agreed, so it's generally agreed, but, there's probably some dissenters or whatever, and, we're not going to hear from any of those people, unless it's like me or somebody else or whatever. So, again, apparently, this is in a summary over here, they don't know. So, like I said, before you go stomping around, that's my Target reusable bag, before you start stomping around like a maniac with steam coming out of all your orifices and whatnot, yelling at everybody and screaming about prove it, prove it, prove it. Why don't you check what you know, okay? Why don't you check what you're going by, all right? Because I don't think you know really exactly what you're talking about, okay? What you think is proof is not proof. What you think is fact is not fact. These people don't have facts, okay? And people like John Delano and Robert Thorson and Susan Allport, when they talk about the stone walls, they're the first ones to tell you there's no documented evidence, there's nothing in deeds and, land surveys, diaries of any of these people. There's 240,000 plus miles of stone walls, okay? And if you go by, Barbara DeLong's estimate of being 500,000 miles of stone walls here in the Northeast, well, that's enough to go around this planet 20 times. And as I've said and commented, this is the most under-investigated and largest site of man-made stonework. Not only the walls, there's chambers, effigies, all sorts of different constructions, as you can see in my videos at Mallory and whatnot. And, in a later video, another video, I'm going to go over all this stuff again, because I think some of the new subscribers, don't know anything about the stone walls. They don't know what's going on. So we're going to rehash some of that stuff, and also to take a better look at some of the stuff that I discovered up there with Jimmy the Paleo Mountain Man about what's going on in these walls. There's stuff in there, my friends. There's messages in there. And just recently, Dr. Robert Schoch said in a radio interview, I believe, that he believes that there are messages in all of this megalithic stonework that he's found around the world. Messages in there. And, I wish Dr. Robert Schoch would contact me, because you can see clearly in a lot of my videos, a lot of those messages are in there. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to go over this because I'm sick of hearing people say, prove it, prove it, prove it. You prove it, okay? If they're going to theorize, if they're going to give their hypothesis, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to give mine too. All right? All right, guys. Anyway, Budcat7 signing out. Thanks for joining me. Until the next video, bye now. Peace.